Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. This is my annual episode that I always do, looking at the strategies for business growth for the coming year. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about for today's episode, I thought, the things that I shared last year are still the same things that I think are super important this year. So instead of going back through them again, I highly recommend that you go back and check out episode 55 from last year, and I'll really quickly walk you through the 6 strategies that I had shared. But I want to keep that separate because there's some new things that I think are really going to be important this year that I really want to double down on and focus on in this episode, and also take you behind the scenes of some of the changes that we're making at Lean Out Method and some of what we're doing as a result of some of those strategies. So real quick walkthrough of the 6 strategies that I had shared for last year that I think are still highly relevant this year. The first one is making a decision about going all in or all out on social media. And all throughout the year, I had predicted that there was going to be a lot of businesses that chose to opt out of social media entirely or really reimagined the way that they were leveraging social media. So I think there will continue to be businesses who use less and less of social media or who use social media in different ways. I also think that a lot of the platforms and changes, especially for those of us who work with other businesses, is really trending much more towards LinkedIn and YouTube instead of Instagram and Facebook. Now, I will admit I love Instagram. It's my happy place. I know it's not for a lot of other people. I also generally like social media, which I know is not the same for a lot of other people as well. So I use it in such a way that for me, it's a really great experience and I actually look forward to it. Whereas I know a lot of businesses are like, please let me do anything to get off these platforms. And even some of my clients want to be making that change. So I think this is just one of those years where you have to make a decision where you stand on social media. And if you are going to be leveraging it, figure out what your core platform is or what maybe your 2 core platforms are. Go all in on those, fully leverage, fully optimize all of the features, functionality. Make sure you're using them very strategically and don't really waste your time with anything beyond that. Now, the second trend from last year was increased organic marketing versus paid advertising. And again, I think that that's also true going into this year. Now, that wasn't to say no paid advertising. It was some businesses had relied exclusively on paid advertising. And with so many of the changes that had happened, there was more of a shift towards organic marketing. And I think that while there is absolutely the case to continue to do paid ads, while I think that there is absolutely a way to grow your audience, to grow your client base, to really have ads turn into something quite profitable in your business, I think that it is really high risk to do that without a really strong and smart organic marketing approach. I know for us this year, we're really going to be focused on referrals. So much of our business comes from referrals. And if you've ever referred business to me, thank you. I am incredibly grateful for every single referral that I get, whether it turns into a client or not. But we've kind of had that happen more organically as opposed to being done with a lot of strategy behind it. So as a lot of my clients right now are also looking to be developing referral strategies in their business, that's something that we're doubling down on. And that way we can leverage it to support our clients as well as leveraging it in our own business. So if you don't already have a really strong referral strategy, or maybe you have one that you think could use a little bit of a refresh, maybe some ways to make it differentiated a little bit more, then highly recommend that you spend some time and look at that. Now, the third one was deepening connection and shortening the buying cycle. And again, I just think that this is going to continue where people are really craving that connection. This is not the year to do kind of the surface level, very hands off stuff. You know, I am all about scaling. And one of the things that I've been doing a lot with my clients is helping them look for ways to do more personalized automations. And having a scalable business model doesn't mean that you don't have elements in things that you strategically do in an unscalable way. I've shared with you before, if you ever sign on to work with me privately, you will get a handwritten thank you note from me that gets sent to you, as well as an incredible welcome package and everything. Now, I could definitely automate that. I could definitely do that in a different way. I could just send an email. I could have a company go ahead and send the box for me, like I get sometimes when I join things. But to me, I just think I'm very selective with the people that I work with privately. I don't work with a lot of private people. I like deeper relationships with fewer people. And so to me, that's an element that's totally unscalable. It requires me and my time and then my team to go take things to the post office. But that's just something that I want to do to deepen that connection. And to me, that's a really valuable, nice touch. And I know that the people who work with me really appreciate it. So I think you want to look at how can you deepen connection in what you're doing? How can you find ways to put those special touches in? Or if you are doing things that are more systematized and automated, which I'm all about, but how can you leverage those in a way that feels more personalized as opposed to more mass? So some things there, and then really looking at your buying cycle. How can you take people from just learning about you to actually having all of the information that they need, all of the touch points that they need to make the decision to work with you in a shorter, quicker way? There's a lot of that we work with our clients on inside Simplify to Scale. We actually have our next cohort kicking off in February. So if you want to learn more about that, head over to leanoutmethod.com/scale. Really, all of these things that we are talking about in today's episode are all things that we do together inside that mentorship program. But the fourth one is to differentiate and have a bold point of view. There's been so much more noise in the online space. We knew going into last year that this was going to be the case. It's even more going into this new year. And so I think you really do need to stand out. Don't just post for the sake of posting. Be really intentional with the content that you're creating. Be really clear about the message that you're trying to put out there, who you want to help, how you want to help them, what makes you different. Really lean into that going into the year and don't be afraid to have that bold point of view. Vanilla language and posting just for the sake of posting is honestly going to be a complete waste of time, whether that's on social media, whether that's on your blog post, wherever it is that you're posting. Same thing with newsletters. People's inboxes are just inundated. I don't know about you, but I get cold pitched from people, probably like 100 emails a day. I don't understand how people get my email address. Just in case you're listening and thinking, hey, I'm going to cold pitch her, know that you will instantly get blocked and deleted. It will not work. I just see the number of messages in my inbox going up and up and up all the time. So you really do want to stand out and differentiate. Just be super strategic about what you're doing. And I think that you'll see really good results. The fifth one is to lean out and do less but better. You know, this is what we are all about, is really truly leaning out, getting clear on what matters most, and eliminating any waste or anything in your business that is not adding value for your clients or profit and impact in the business itself. And this is just, I think, the year in particular where this is so critical. There's a lot going on in the world. There's constant talks about recession. There's just all of these different things that are influencing people's buying patterns. They might be influencing your decisions around how you're investing your money in your business. And I think that there is never really room for waste in a business, but right now there is especially no room for waste in your business. This is the year to make sure that you are being as operationally efficient as possible. This is the year to make sure that you are optimizing absolutely every single thing that you are doing, whether that is front-facing, customer-facing, top of funnel, whether that is nurturing your existing clients and focusing on retention and ascension. Regardless of where that is in the process, you want things to be efficient, you want things to be optimized, and you want to make sure that you are getting the absolute most value out of what you are doing without any unnecessary waste. That is what we are going to do with you inside Simplify to Scale. So again, head over to leanoutmethod.com/scale to find out more about that program. We've got some really incredible and really exciting things that we're doing differently this year in the program that I can't wait for you to see if you head over to the page. And those changes were inspired by the sixth and final thing, which is to focus on customer centricity and value. And this is going to take me right into some of the newer things that I wanted to focus on specifically for 2023. And let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing different in our Simplify to Scale program and why we're doing it, because it really comes down to that customer centricity and value, and knowing that this is the year for people to focus on being operationally efficient and to optimize what they're doing. We've also heard from a lot of businesses that this is not a year of growth for them. And so what that means is in past years, they were focusing a lot on growth. They were putting a ton of money into paid ads. They were putting a ton of time and money into organic marketing. There was a big, heavy focus on growth. For a lot of the businesses that I've been talking to, some are in years of growth, but a lot of them are in years of more creating their systems, of really building up their team. They're in these years of making sure that the foundation of their business is incredibly solid so they don't have wasted time, money, and energy and resources in their business, so they don't have unnecessary complexity in their business, so they can get their expenses down and their profit margin up. And so they are positioned to be able to continue to grow or even to be able to scale their business as things move out of what can be this kind of weird in-between period that a lot of businesses are seeing. Now, it depends on your market and it depends on who you work with. Some people, as anytime there's anything going on in the economy, some people really thrive and they end up with even more business. Some people end up really heavily impacted and they end up where their business decreases. And then there's the other people in the middle where a lot of times their business doesn't grow because they don't focus on it. They end up in the same pattern that I saw a lot of businesses end up in when everything started to happen with the pandemic, which is they aren't sure what's going to happen. So they kind of put everything on hold. They end up in a waiting pattern, a wait and see pattern. And that's a really dangerous place to be. If that is you and you're in a wait and see pattern, I highly encourage you to make a decision towards action, whether that is a decision towards continuing to grow your business or whether that is a decision towards really doubling down on optimizing what you have, getting rid of all of the waste. And maybe you're not out there trying to bring in tons of new clients, but maybe you end up with an even more profitable or equally as profitable year because of all those improvements that you're making on the back end. So with all that being said, when we looked at our Simplify to Scale program, what we ended up doing is we ended up really doubling down on the 9 engines that will help you scale your business in a simple, sustainable way, and that drive really leveraged growth in your business, and that also help you implement things that are going to make your business very operationally efficient. And when we looked at it, the reality is that you as the CEO, as the visionary leader of your business, a lot of times you don't want to be, nor should you be, the person out there implementing systems and leading strategic planning sessions and doing a lot of that. All those things are critical in your business. You need strategy planning, systems, team, and insight in order to scale simply and sustainably. However, you aren't always the one who's going to be doing that. That's why you have a team to surround you. That's why you typically have your right-hand person in your business, whether that's an ops lead or a director of ops or an OBM or a chief of staff, or there's project manager, you name it. There's so many different names for roles that people hire. Sometimes just a VA who really does a lot of that ops stuff for them, or even an EA. And so when we looked at this program and when we looked at how we want to best support people this year, we actually have integrated 2 tracks into the program. So there is the Visionary CEO track, which is almost more mastermind style. It's biweekly calls with me. There's some workshops with me. There's a lot of really high-level support to chat about and to get feedback and to get insight on the ups and downs of scaling your business, the ups and downs of team issues, the ups and downs of systemizing issues, of all of those different things that are going on in your business. You have a place to go in a small circle, high touch format with my specific eyes on your business and feedback. And I felt like that was what was so needed. What people do not need, what you do not need if you are thinking about it, is another mass program where you are one of many. Nobody knows your business. Any feedback that you get is the same generic feedback that anybody else is getting, right? That's not what you need. You need somebody who actually understands your business, understands you, and can give you that personalized, really meaningful feedback and insight and strategy based on your vision, your goals, and your unique context. And so when I looked at the program, I really was looking at how can I do that? That's always been my mission and how I like to support people. But how can I do that in an even deeper way? And so the 2 tracks allow for that. So you have your space for that support, but the other track is for your right-hand person in your business. So it's for you to put your ops lead or your ops focused person into that track. If today you're trying to develop that person up, it is a great place for them to go and to get that development. And so they are your implementers. They are the person who's going to roll up their sleeves and who are going to implement all 9 of those engines that you actually need to scale your business. So you have the ability to see what they're doing, to understand what they're doing, to ask really high level CEO level questions on those things. And they have their own track to actually deep dive into all of the content, all of the SOPs, all of the templates, all of the things that they can use to take and then adapt into your unique needs for your business. And they have their own support track in their own calls about implementation. So it ends up giving you a really big lift in your business. And what's also a little bit unique with what we're doing going into this next cohort that kicks off in February is I've included a lot on the front end and top of funnel activities. One of the things that I'm known for and that I do privately with people quite a bit is really help them to figure out what their elevated offer suite is and build out what I call their scalable offer suite. I've done this with my clients for many, many years. And as part of that, we look at the end-to-end marketing and sales system that supports that. And quite often, there are so many gaps in that system. There are so many holes in that system. There's just so much opportunity for optimization, where instead of going off and launching something new and launching something different, just by simply closing some of those gaps or optimizing some of the things that are already working in that end-to-end marketing sales system, it has a really big increase in the number of conversions, in the number of sales, in the number of people that you're able to work with, and ultimately in the profit margin in those offers as well through the optimization opportunities. So that's so much of the work that I have done privately with people, as well as in my Build to Scale program, that I decided to actually infuse all of that into Simplify to Scale. So it's all now one program, and it's one really robust, really pretty darn incredible program, I will say. There's not really anything else out there like it. And I think this is what businesses need. This is what I'm seeing. When I look at the trends of what I think businesses need this year, businesses at that level who are ready to scale, who are at the multi-6, multi-7 figure level, they've got a good thing going. They've got a team in place. Might not be the right team in place, but it's a team. They've got some systems in place, typically might not be working super well, but they're not newbies. They're not starting from scratch. They're not in a place where they just need to learn a bunch of stuff. They're in a place where they just need to get some results, and they need to get some time back and get rid of all of the complexity in the process. And so that's what I developed this program really all about for our Simplify to Scale. And the 2 tracks are Simplify to Scale Elite and Simplify to Scale Ops Academy. So Elite is for the visionary CEOs. Ops Academy is for the implementers. But the nice thing is that when you join, you get them both. You don't choose between the 2. It's a bundled deal. You get them both. You get Elite and to Scale Ops Academy, which is just, I think, going to really be a game changer for so many businesses this year. And if that's something you're interested in, just put some time on my calendar at scalingstrategycall.com or head right over to leanoutmethod.com/scale for details. But that's just one of the things that we're doing this year a little bit different based on what I'm seeing. The other thing, and I started actually doing this back in the fall when I started to see some of these trends coming. What I saw was this. Because a lot of people are in some of that holding pattern, that kind of wait and see pattern, their buying habits have shifted. What they're willing to spend money on has shifted, and what they're looking for in their business has shifted. A lot of people are reluctant to hire right now, which is really unfortunate because one of the other things that we're seeing is that there are so many companies letting so many people go that there is some pretty incredible talent out there. And right now, this is a hiring market. This is a market where you have an abundance of really qualified people to choose from for those roles that you're looking to hire for. So in one side, for those of you who are able to hire and who are ready to make those hiring decisions, this is one of the best times that you can be doing it. However, for those of you who are in that I'm not quite sure place, which is what a lot of the people that I've been talking to are at, what people are instead willing to invest in is done for you services. They don't want to hire somebody. They don't want to train somebody. They don't want to go through all of that themselves, or they don't want to take on the risk of it so much. So they are much more willing to hire an expert to do something for them. They're also much more willing to bring people in on a fractional basis. And so what I started doing last year is I started offering fractional CSOO services. So what I call fractional chief strategy and operating officer services. It is the blend of marketing and operations. Some of my clients call me a CMO. Some of my clients call me a COO. I call myself a CSOO. Doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's that fractional service where I come in as that trusted partner in the business, where I come in and help take that big, bold vision and bring it to life through the strategy, planning, systems, team, and insights. In this case, I'm doing it for them. And when you look at your business, when you look at your business model right now, if there's any part of what you do that is service-based or done for you based or can be done for you based, I think this is an incredible year to be doing that. When I added this service, I didn't even tell people about it. You can't even find it on my website yet. I'm still working on making those updates and adding it to my website. And I fully booked out instantly. And it's because it's what a lot of people are currently looking for. Now, the other big thing this year that I can't round out this episode without talking about, of course, is AI. It is blowing up everywhere. AI stuff is not new, been out for a really long time. It's been used by a lot of companies for a long time. However, because of some of the big things that happened towards the end of last year, AI is pretty much all anybody is talking about right now. And it really is, it's becoming much more mainstream. A lot of people are now experimenting with it. I know my husband has been doing some really, really great stuff with images, AI generated images. He is also a business consultant, and a lot of the presentations and things that he's putting together as he's facilitating these workshops and trainings is he's going into his AI generator and having these incredible images being created that relate to what he's talking about. That's just totally up-leveling his presentation and up-leveling what he's doing. And he had started doing that before I started seeing so much going on now, where every time you look at Instagram, there's all these people showing their AI images, and there's all these people playing around with the AI writers and sending newsletters and writing blog posts and writing social media captions. And there's just a lot to be considering with AI, and that it's here to stay. It is going to be one of those things that just keeps increasing over time. So how does it fit into your business and your business model? How do you want to leverage it? What do you want to experiment with or look into and see how it can fit into or augment some of what you're doing? If you're hearing people talk about it and think, yeah, whatever, just the latest buzz, it's going to die down, I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think it's going to continue to be used more and more and more. I think it's going to really honestly reshape a lot of how we do things and how we think about things and how we work and going into the future. So if you've not taken any time to think about the role that AI is going to play in your business, definitely a good idea to put that out in your backlog and to carve out some space to think about it. So there's so many other things that I could talk about, but just in general, when you think about customer centricity, when you think about value, when you think about what your clients need and what they're looking for right now, when you think about keeping things lean and being operationally efficient, and whether you're in a period of growth or whether you're in a period of optimizing, making sure that you are going all in and doing it in a way where there's not a lot of wasted time, money, energy, resources. When you think about all of those things, really take a look at your offer suite, take a look at your customer journey, take a look at your marketing and sales end-to-end system, and really look at where you can potentially make some changes. Small changes, not big revolutionary changes, but small changes and evolutions of what you're currently doing that can really lead to a lot of success for your business and really helping your clients solve the problems that they have, or positioning things in such a way where they understand how you can really help them. I think this is going to be a lot of done for you services. I think this is going to be a lot of that deeper connection and more transformation, not transactional, much more transformational, especially if you work with a more seasoned business or more seasoned buyer, not newbies who are looking for something super low cost, super quick, people who really truly want a transformation. And I think you want to stand out above the noise, just really get clear on what it is that you stand for, what it is that you do, what it is that you believe, and how you are different and why you are different, and really go all in on that so that you can show up to best serve your clients, be seen, get in front of them, and really have an absolutely phenomenal year. And while you're at it, have a little bit of fun exploring AI and figure out how that's going to fit into the landscape of what you do in your business, and figure out what you want to do about social. I know for me, I'm going to be spending much more time on LinkedIn this year. You've heard me talk about that in a couple of recent episodes, especially episode 100. I hope you have a wildly successful 2023. And if you've ever been curious about working together at all, highly encourage you to put some time on my calendar at scalingstrategycall.com, or head over to leanoutmethod.com/scale to learn more about our Simplify to Scale program, because hands down, I think it is the absolute best thing that you can do for your business this year. And I am so excited to start working with a really small group of businesses in February, and would love to chat if you think that your business might be a great fit and you'd like to work closely with me going into the first half of this year. So I hope you got a ton of value out of this episode. I will see you again next week. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. I hope you got a lot of value and actionable insights from today's show, and would love if you take a moment to leave us a review. If you have any questions on today's episode or on how to lean out your business, join us over in our private Facebook community, where every week we do live training and Q&A, and I'd love to have you be part of the conversation. Head to leanoutmethod.com/group to join us. And before you go, be sure to subscribe to the show so you're the first to know when we release a new episode. We'll see you next week.